Good weekend, all. Ira Epstein with your metal market wrap-up, and this is your weekly charts we're going to look at for this Friday, the scary Friday the 13th, 2025. Well, the one thing you know, you woke up this morning, and I just wrote about it in my newsletter, and I said it here. In my newsletter, I think I wrote it Wednesday, and I said, I know we're going to wake up one of these mornings very soon, and we're going to know that there's a war going on where Israel's attacked Iran. That was my prediction, and lo and behold, I did not expect it before the Sunday meeting that's now been canceled by Iran, which is a shame, but I thought it would be right after that. And I mean right after that. Could have been an hour after that. But instead, Israel decided to go it and said, you know, each day that goes by, Iran's getting closer and closer. Now, the problem for Israel doesn't really have the weapons it needs to take out these deep, and I mean they're very deep, these areas where they enrich the uranium. I'm reading some reports from the IAEA that said contamination in one of these areas has been spreading. It can be contained, but there's a problem, and they need to have more information. Well, we'll find out, you know. I don't know what Iran wants to do or not want to do. We know that they're going to throw missiles at each other. I was sort of surprised today, and I think it tells you how bad Israel hurt Iran when it took out the heads of military, because what was the point of firing 100 drones, slow-flying drones at Israel on the first wave? Fire them in conjunction, I guess, with the missiles. They learned that, you know, what had happened last time is they could sometimes override the Israeli Golden Dome system. They can confuse it. Well, they didn't do that. That is where I think the big problem is. I am not convinced that after the heads of what I'm seeing that the number 2, number 3 men have got it. I like the move that Israel made on calling on the people. This is your moment. You've got a weakened leadership. If you really want to throw the government down and you're tired of the life that you've had in this way, it's your moment. Doesn't mean they'll do it. They're the people. It's their country. But that was it. I wrote about that in my newsletter. I happened to say before they said it, I said, this is the moment that they have the opportunity. We'll see. Anything can happen over the weekend. I would expect Israel's going to get hit with everything Iran can possibly muster up to hit them with. And then at the end of that, Israel's going to hit very hard. I mean, unbelievably hard. And dare Iran hit any U.S. asset in anywhere, then they can get those huge bunker bombs that the U.S. will release. Then all these areas can be taken out with a lot of ease. So we will see. I'm guessing at the end of the day, the U.S. bunker bombs are going to be used. And we're talking those monsters that blew off the hilltop, if you remember, in Afghanistan. I believe that's going to happen. All right. So as we look at it, you were down a bit in the copper. You know, if the Strait of Hormuz gets shut down for any lengthy period of time, that's a real problem for oil prices. It's also a problem from Iran if they do that. They're a big buyer of their oil. All that oil goes through there for China. That's been their big, that's the group that has kept them going. That's the group that sells them components for the missiles and everything that they're doing. Iranians don't have it, the Chinese do. So dare they do that? They could. Then if they shoot at a U.S. ship, the bombs are coming. So we'll find out what's going to happen. I mean, I make it sound simple. I'm not a military person, but I watch the military channels for this. And I'm listening to the guys with the experience, the ex-generals, the colonels, all the guys all the way up. And I'm giving you the summation. Obviously, energy exploded on the news. It gave back half the gains that it had, but what dramatic gains. And weather will be what moves the natural gas. The U.S. made a play on now the biodiesels, and soybean oil went limit up and stayed limit up all day long. I didn't see it really come off the limit once it locked up there. It might have. I didn't see that happen, though. And when we look at the other parts of the market, bonds and notes, where's the big bid in them? You know, if the world was so fearful that this is it and something terrible is going to happen, you don't increase these interest rates. It's the opposite. And the dollar didn't get the bid that it should. All right, so when I say should, typically on a situation like this, the dollar would be over 99. So I'm not saying things can't happen over the weekend. I'm saying they're not there. Now, before we get too far and look at these charts, which I do want you to see, I want to remind one and all that you've got the New York Empire State Manufacturing Survey for June. That's at 7:30. The Baker Hughes rig count came in down 4. So everything the president wants to do, the reality is we're getting less and less. Next, my Father's Day sale is on. So treat yourself to a gift. Get a gift from your kid to give it to you. Get your family to get you this. What you get is 3 months of my research. You pick the program. It could be my complete futures, my 3-month combo of the morning spider and the morning futures video, all for the price of 2. And I only sell in quarterly increments now, or yearly. You can go yearly and get a great deal, or you can go quarterly. The monthly we've stopped. It's just too difficult with all the people we have. So this is how we do them. We've been doing this for a while, and I think you'll see over a 3-month pattern, I think I can prove myself to you. The idea here is for me to give you trading ideas that you believe in already. The idea is to teach you each day. Yes, teach you how I work with the charts, what I'm doing, because I explain it all in the morning videos. You'll see the icons up here. They'll take you to the site, iraepstein.com, research. All right. So now, let's, if we could, go to the chart action and see what we've got. So when I come here, and I've got to get back now to the chart, there we are. We were talking the gold right here. For the month, if you finished like this, it's an all-time high, but we're only a third of the way into the month. However, I see inflation on the rise. I see the problems we have here. The G7 meeting is taking place. You know everybody's going to be running up to President Trump and going, can I have your ear? I need time to talk to you. And why? Only one country has a deal with the U.S., the UK. And he said this week, within 2 weeks, he's going to tell you what your tariffs are going to be. So here's the man. Here's what they want to do. They want to plead their cases. It's going to be interesting. You do remember the last time Canada hosted one of these, the president got into a wording match with Trudeau, and he really caught him some names, and he left the meeting. We will see what happens. He will not have that problem with Mark Carney. You can see how the market came up on that. You can see on the weekly chart, you've been spinning and consolidating. That is the right word. Are we going to break out to the upside or the downside is the big question. The edge goes at this point to the bulls because you have a clear pattern of higher lows and higher highs. That's the beauty of the swing line. You can easily see this versus that. You can't see this on that chart. When I put that on with the swing line, it's easy to see. So what you don't want to take out is the low of this week. If you did, then I can make an argument you're pulling back into the 18-week average. If you don't do it, where's the Bollinger Band? 35.10. So you're knocking on the door. If you get up there another $90, roughly $85 at contract highs, that could be one of the objectives that you get up to. Momentum, you're overbought. But I'd expect that, all right? If it were embedded, I'd get so much more excited. I'd go, why stop at 3,500? But overbought, you got to prove yourself. So I think the 3,500 level, unless some disaster happens in the Middle East, disaster being everybody wants to own gold because of it, that's what I'm looking for. You can see that as we're slipping on the weekly, I could have made this all silver. I think we can get back to the 18-week average. I forgot to change the color on that. In the silver chart, you know that I wrote a very bullish silver report. I hate telling my clients to buy at or above Bollinger Band, so I won't. All right, and that is the problem on a weekly chart right now. When you look at on a weekly, the daily chart is still bullish. On the copper, yeah, you broke back, so what? You're still looking bullish right here. The 18-week average is still holding. So until this market gets under the lows 2 weeks ago, I'll give it to you right here. Unless it gets under 463.30, as you can see, the odds favor if it can start picking up the upper Bollinger Band at 508.90 is still the area. If it gets under that number, it means something's going on that could hurt Chinese production at home, probably having to do with oil prices, things of that nature, out of the mischief going on in the Middle East. Higher lows, higher highs in the platinum, you're still over the Bollinger Band. I would not tell a client to ever buy over that band on a weekly chart. And in the dollar index, I am just rip-roaring bearish. Bearish. I want to make that clear. You have your embedded reading, the market's down. I'm looking for new lows. So I didn't want that to happen. The one thing that can stop it is this week's high is super important on the chart. It's an outside week down. If you take that out until you go through that low again, it says you can get short covering of size. So we'll see if that happens. I remain very committed to the bear side of that market. And the other thing I'm committed to are you dads out there, take advantage. The Father's Day sale, IraEpstein.com. All the icons are up here. And I'll catch up with you all Monday morning or in the other videos that are posted tonight. Take care.